Hello, hello. So, a little bit of that. Talking about like daily practice. All right. So, part of that was just to give you a little nudge of what I like to do. So, feedback. Oop. So, um, getting things started. Just wanted to say, hey, it's a it's a beautiful day. Still got a couple of the muses coming out, tippity tappity and such. So, bear with me. I'm getting things situated. But coming on to start, I wanted to just share with you like a little daily practice. Now I'll explain it. So it's like the slightest bend of your knees, feet shoulder width apart, and just do your best to straighten your back. And what you're doing is you're having your arms out in front of you, and when think of like how you hug someone, like how you just need that hug, and in that embrace, you feel better, right? So essentially, what you're doing is hugging yourself. Okay, this is the space that you create when you put your hands up, palms forward, or palms back at you, and you want to release the tension from all of this. And I know it sounds weird, but just practice. Barely bend your knees. Don't. You're in a state of like tense relaxation. That's like a paradox, I know, but it's the sensation where you're allowing your body to flow freely with energy output, but it's not focused. It's not um, directed at like muscle movement, as it were. It's not a you're not performing motor skills. You're just being present in like an activated state. And what I like to do is that space that you've created between your palms and your chest, like about at heart level, that's you hugging yourself, right? All right, so that's gonna be you literally hugging yourself. Like just let your spirit leave your body so you can just hug it for a second and being in that moment. And it's really cool because all you have to do is just breathe, right? That's all we technically have to do. So you're just holding that space for yourself. We hold space for so many other people. We tend to like carry the world on our shoulders, right? So just you need that hug sometimes. So I'm saying this is a perfect way to not only kind of generate natural energy, and by all means, please like just get barefoot and go sit in the grass and do this, because like talk about recharge, talk about renewal, giving back and being in nature, as it were. So do that. But yeah, it's just hugging yourself, and I mean, and you can utilize visualization, you can utilize meditation in this state, and that's essentially what it is. It's a activated meditative state. Paradoxes, right? It's all about paradoxes. So yes, doing that like daily practice. Practice is. I don't like the phrase "practice makes perfect," because if you're perfect, then why would you further exist, if that makes sense? I know it doesn't in a way, but like we are perfectly imperfect. It's our imperfections. It's our skips along the way. That's what creates the beauty and magnificence of life and this facet of divinity, right? You know, um, it is existence. It's not seeking perfection. It's realizing there already is perfection in all of its glory, in all of its facets and all of its nature. So being present in that is a beautiful thing, which we got one, by the way. So hope everyone's having an absolutely lovely day. Good afternoon to most of you, and evening to the rest. Um, yeah. So Friday's Fascinations, is all the things that are happening. You know, the ascension symptoms are coming about like crazy. But I look at it as like that's also a check the block mentality. You know, I've had discussions throughout the week, you know, and many of them echoing back to that militaristic mindset of check the block, get it done, you know, move on, efficiency almost. You know, but being efficient in the spiritual mindset is a boon to that progress, you know, but it's not the end all be all. It doesn't make perfect, if that makes sense. That's not the practice in which you wish to, you know, stress efficiency. It's all in due nature. Like I gave you an example of what I like to do. That might not resonate with you. But I mean, the feeling, the releasing of that energy or that holding of that energy, that, you know, in itself is a natural state that can be accessed by anyone and everyone. So with that mindset too, allow yourself to kind of release that conditioning. I don't mean programming, and I don't mean the need for subliminal structure. It's just merely conditioning, as in like I have to check this block to get happy. I have to have my cup of coffee in the morning to you know, get through the day. Like if I don't have my cup of coffee, work's gonna be shit. You know, if I get to work and the boss man's there and he's wearing that particular tie, like today's gonna be shit. I mean, these are conditions you set for yourself, and those are conditions. You know, so that's what I'm saying. All about today is reflective of self, holding that space for self, and embracing yourself unconditionally. Like it's not, you don't have to hold this space literally to embrace yourself. You know, I'm just showing you a way to do so that is physically and energetically. And like I said, if it doesn't resonate with you, that is perfectly fine. You know, that is becomes a condition. Like, oh, I have to do that, and then no, to each their own, right? Hey, Tricky, what's up, bro? Sorry, I was
How you doing,
in
man?
the middle of a tangent.
Mm.
How are you?
Yeah, you know, fair to middling.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm surprised at my efficiency today because like, oof, have I been running on fumes? But it's almost a subtle pleasantry to it. Like part of yesterday was wild in the fact of how just that bodily oppression, you know, comes on. But at the same time, is like, you know, I enjoy doing the work and I enjoy doing the, you know, functioning as it were, even though everything in me was saying it's not happening today. Yeah. So like those are those conditions, you know, and they're, so we're going to be saying conditions, it looks like a lot today. So,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's a good term because it covers a lot of broad basics, but it's not the one that we should focus on, even though it's repeated constantly. You know, do away with the sense of conditioning and all of its forms, and even like, you know, physiological conditions. Yes, they impact our physiology, but
Definitely.
it is with that energetic and mental process that can alleviate that physiological process in a way. You know, it's not an end all be all. You know, it's not the super pill, but it is within your own taking because
Well,
it is
what you're saying is right, and pain management
right.
is based loosely on what you're saying.
Yeah.
By the fact that if you alter the sense
Mm-hmm.
of what the hurt is,
Yeah.
the hurt can almost become something you can deal with instead of something you can't. We are very able, I believe, to heal our own bodies, very able to heal our own minds. And of course, some of us are more willing to heal our minds than others.
Yes, this is also true. And, that kind of echoes back to that whole sense of conditioning as well, because I look at it, I can't remember the other day, but I want to say it was Annie that was said something about the shadow self, and I was like, that is the reflection of expectations placed on us by the environment, the rejection of those. I think I said that right, yeah. But because like what society tells you must be perceived, and we perceive ourselves different, we start to reject those things of ourselves, and that becomes these building blocks of conditions and tallies and blocks to check, like, oh, gotta do that, and finally my proverbial mask will be made enough to where I can fit. And we're not worried about fitting here. We're worried about existing, being, happiness, peace, unconditional love that is freely given. That's another thing. We've discussed like church and all that before, and it's brought up in the chat. And it's that unconditional. It gets thrown around, but that is something that is very much so present. It's not. You don't have to do anything to have it. It's there. It's now, and that's part of the energy of the universe. That is that
it exists because I choose it to.
Right. And it exists even if you choose it not to. But when you choose it not to, that becomes your responsibility to acknowledge, and not your crux to say, oh, poor me, Oof. Yeah.
I'm on this lemon barley, and it gets me every single time, but it's nice.
It's nice. Straight barley?
Does something to my face that I'm not used to.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. But yeah, so I mean, I know you've kind of inputted a little bit, but I mean, what take on that besides what you perceive, like when not any one instance, just saying like so talking about gifts, you can see auras very clearly. I mean, like as if they're the paintings on the wall. And you've discussed it, you've talked about it, and I mean it's very apparent. It's a beautiful gift. It is a gift, right? And gifts aren't selective. That's the cool thing about existing. There is nothing that becomes inherently selective. It is those that do the selecting that make the outcome almost. We choices and such. So that's another tangent. But the gifts, so empathy, is a gift, and it comes in many forms. And then there are those who have a more so unbridled empathy, where it is no longer a mental visualization, but a much so cohabitable space, and that whatever's there becomes there in a way, in the simplest of terms. So with that, picking up on folks, like I'm kind of talking about me in a way where it becomes a gift when you don't allow that atlas. You don't just, you're constantly, because
you're using the same kind of metaphor as I say for pushing your way up through the shit.
Right. Exactly.
It's exactly the same thing. You're wearing it like a clothing. It's all around you. You're in it. You're immersed in it. And whilst you're in shit,
Yes.
all you can usually see is shit.
Right. And you and then, if you're gonna just constantly choose being in a whole bunch of shit, start looking for corn pieces. That person had some greenery today, make the shit at least enjoyable because hey, you're choosing to be there. So quit sucking on the teat and
Yeah,
point at the sheep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I liken it to um, anybody that's happy wallowing in their own shit
Yes.
is none of my business, you know.
Right. But,
So when I see it,
mm-hmm.
you see that's the difference. When I talk about I see people wallowing in their own shit. I literally see people
Yes.
wallowing in their own shit.
Yes. And that's
And
what I'm saying. I'm very much so similar in the way that it's like I can just I'll see, you know, I'll see
you're
the
obviously picking up off that auric energy
oh I mean
because
so yeah
it's there.
yeah and that's part of like that same unconditional. You can almost sense the conditions like you as chains almost. And when you brush past somebody, you bump into those, and it's like
Yeah.
oh, and if you take notice, it's apparent. And part of embracing our gift is realizing that unconditional love, that unshackling is a gift and it's freely given. That's really the overall big gifts I'm talking about. It's not turning into superheroes or be your own superhero. Be your own, because we constantly make ourselves our own supervillain
You all the time.
all the time. So like stop putting the condition on the rest of the world to come save you and realize that hey, you created your own villain, make your
I
hero.
I refer to them as limitations.
Right. Yes, and that's
If
exactly that
you
limitations.
if you wish to limit yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
can, and you can sit there, and then you can start feeling sorry for yourself because you sat there and you haven't got a lot. And it's an onward going progression.
It is.
Um, there is there is a way back, and that's to push yourself through all the shit and reach, because people like Thomas and I, we're there to grab your hand and pull you from it.
Oh yes, because it really is a beautiful world of experience. Like it talking about you know, I watched a video about breath work and releasing your own DMT, and I said, oh, I totally recommend it.
Yeah,
Because daily practice almost, yeah, it becomes in a way like allowing yourself to explore the fullness of life, and it's all within your own capability. And when I say that, like being that just really dead set and accepted empath, I rejected it forever. These are things. That's what I'm saying. Embrace yourself, and when you do, life opens up so many doors
oh
of
yeah, I fought it and fought
right.
it and fought it like I
Yeah,
didn't think it
because
was
it's
real.
uncomfortable. Yes, and society dictates that it is,
I
and
made all kind of excuses why I
right.
shouldn't believe it. And then I realized when I started giving out love
Mhm.
that actually God picked up on that
Right.
and cuddled me just that a little bit closer to him.
Yeah.
And it was enough,
Yeah. And that's that unconditional embrace,
right?
to just and it brings you back to God and that good orderly direction, that source, that everything, the fabric of the universe. You get back to saying, "Oh shit, I'm part of that. I'm one with that," and it's amazing. And
Yeah.
like the other day, I explained it as like I see in how do I say it? It's like my life was a cartoon, and I'm loving it. I see in color. smell. I hear in
Stereo.
well, I mean, I can't remember how I put it. I was being, facetious and whimsical, but
Mm,
yeah. So, but I mean, it was all true, and it's like I feel in music, I taste in, exuberance, and I hear in blessings and stuff like. I mean, but it's all true, It's uh,
yeah.
and
It's
it's
it's like I said yesterday on my live. I said it's the best game
yeah,
you've ever played.
right. And once you realize that you're it,
You're it.
a
Yeah.
game master, game player, game itself,
Yeah.
you can either choose to keep playing or walk away and exist, you know?
Well, wait until you complete. Wait until you have the fortunate thing of completing a level.
Yes,
When you go
accomplishment.
through, you sure
Yes.
know you've arrived.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's like one of the most beautiful, profound things of the human experience is that spiritual do do do. We all have that level up music. I guarantee you. As soon as you said it, like thousands of people had some Call of Duty sounds. I mean, I'm just freaking the Need for Speed where you break through the brakes and the squalor to saying you got a new achievement, and then
Yep.
so it's just
Upgrades.
yes, upgrade. It's that background. The universe constantly plays that background, and it's just you gotta tune up on it.
It's the
Turn
most.
your radio dial.
It's the most all-encompassing reality
Mm-hmm.
feel that you're ever going to feel
Oh,
as this being.
yes, and that's part
So
of this
get
being.
used to it and really enjoy it is what I'm saying.
Make it daily practice is not and it can be the simplest of things. Like the other
Yeah.
day, it was saw something someone was saying like doing this and this, and then uh getting into Zen. I was like, well, Zen in both those first two things too. Zen's in all things.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have like those. Enlightenment is in all things. Awakening is in all things. That like we use these movements, these feel good vibes to where they become the conditions themselves, or they become the limitations, like you were saying. Like, oh, I'm just not feeling these vibes today. Maybe it's just not in me. Well, shit. Go look in the mirror and you know clap it up and say, hey, you got this, and keep on going because
Yeah.
as that existence, as just being in that self, it will radiate and it will change the world around you because the world that you are present in is of your own making.
Correct.
So much like you're saying, pushing up through the shit, climbing that, getting out of the cave, allegorically, and peeking behind the veil, for
Yeah.
you Renaissance fans, and just, you know, dropping the curtain behind the curtain, however you want to look at it. And the funny part is you're holding the rope, or you're actually knitting together the whole picture.
Mm.
And
You are the rope.
right, all of that, all of it, or just it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not a scalding either, or a condescending or a bragging thing. It is absolutely none of that. It was just a profound sense of being and saying, hey, look in the mirror
Yeah.
because whatever you see is your mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that includes this, that includes us, that includes your
Every
happiness.
interaction.
Everything is your mirror. And hey, if you have those interactions that leave that bad taste in our mouth, ask yourself, why are you tasting that?
Yeah.
Why are you hearing those things? Why did that smell like, just there was a funny off smell about it. So ask yourself, what are those triggers? What are those conditionings? Now I'm getting actually back to conditionings like programs. You know, that's what I'm saying. The word's going to be used loosely today, folks. So don't just attach to attachment, non-attachment, detachment. These are the things that we need to do. Part of what I did earlier when I was fanning and waving my hands, that was bringing in gratitude and love, passing it back out, and then also detaching from it all and bringing back to oneness. Because much like Tricky, much like many of you, much like myself, we're a glass is always full kind of thing because we're constantly pouring, because like the Schrodinger's cat, if you're
You have
constantly
to,
pouring
you
out
have
of
to
a cup, is it both full and empty at the same time, since it is technically emptying?
exactly a 3-cup motion where one tips into one
Yeah,
as it's dipping into another.
right. The
Just
fountains. Why do they
constant
make
flow.
fountains like that? Right. The little bitty fountains or the pebbles, the little Zen
Yep.
shrines that yes, that is everyone. That is us.
I
That is
quite
you.
often, you know how people get into the very self-judgmental
Oh yes,
side of
yes.
themselves. Well, I often say it this way so that it's better understood, and it has worked. And
Mm-hmm.
let's see if you see where I'm going with this. But
Fire away.
it's kind of like anything else you would be doing in life, regardless of perhaps sitting there holding your head in your hands, wishing your life was different.
Right.
Anything that you do, you've got to consider that. And I've totally, completely, and utterly forgot what I was going to say.
Hmm. That happens though. Like, hey, all right, hold on. We got this. It's a beautiful thing because there is no one way. There is no condition that must be met. There is no particular point. There is no particular path. It is because we are it. And yes.
I still can't remember what I was going to say.
Trains.
But my mind has been not functioning right for the last couple of days, so I just have to accept that some things just
Yeah,
disappear.
they do. They do. I'm right there with you. I've been on the last few days actually have been rather strange because I think I've maybe slept about a solid 2 hours in
Okay.
about 2.5 days or so.
Yeah.
And that wasn't for any particular reason or cause. It was just like I was fully aware of myself at the time, and time kept moving. If
Yeah.
that doesn't make sense, but that's the best way I can describe it. It's because I knew I was tired. My body was tired, but my body was allowed to be still. So my mind wandered, even though it didn't stress itself. Like it just being.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was fine. And yesterday I felt the toll of it physically.
Yeah.
But
Worn out.
right, right. And it was fine because as we went into the day with just all the work that we had to do, it was graciously accepted because it was like, not only does it allow me to be functioning for the day, it allows me to be, productive. It allows me
Yeah.
to make progress. It allows me to,
And you've just
utilize the body.
reminded me what I was going to say.
Please do, yes.
But what I was going to say was you forget to have a day off
Right.
from yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And it's all right to, or just have an hour off from yourself.
Yeah.
Have you seen how busy and overloaded you are constantly, everybody.
Yeah.
Have some time off from yourself. And those who can't are stuck in a bigger rut than they know.
Yeah.
Because the non-allowance of self to have a calm and steady self
right
means you're not in charge anymore.
Exactly. You've become on autopilot, and not
you're along for the ride.
Right, and not in a good way. You're
No.
not. You're not the ride. You're stuck on it.
No, that's a gnosis.
Yeah,
that's what that is. Then
yes.
Have some time off from yourself. It's all right to don't feel guilty about it either.
Right, and that gets back to self-care. It's not selfishness. It's allowing to facilitate everything else. Like much like the glass being. Hey, dude, what's that?
Is that your cat?
It is.
Oh.
Come say hey. Come say hey. Ow. Yeah. He's saying no. I want you to rub me, but you interrupted. So, hello, folks.
Hello, Pusscat. Beautiful cat.
Yeah, he's the little lion, but he's more of a velociraptor.
He's big though. Look,
yeah.
Judging by seeing the scale on the screen, he looks fairly big cat.
He's about my torso size for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
He's standing up on my leg. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, look at him. He's a beaut.
He's shy now.
Yeah. Camera shy, huh?
Yeah. He heard you talking. He's like, no, I'm a big man.
Yeah, I don't need no slop and dribble.
Yeah. He's Mufasa. Yeah. I have no idea where we're going. We were interrupted by the cat overlord.
Cats. We could talk about cats for a while.
We could talk about cats. Pay homage. That's what he's saying. You dare.
I had a cat called Cat.
Ah, yes.
Spelt with a K though, because she was a posh bitch. So
yeah. And I've never met a cat that wasn't.
I couldn't remember anything
called cat.
Yeah, I couldn't remember anything at the time, so I remembered it was a cat because I could see a cat.
Right.
So the name became Cat, and that was just it.
Yeah.
Needs must.
Yeah, for sure. Come here. All right. So, diversion besides cats. Yeah.
Beautiful cat.
Yes.
My friends have got 3 Maine Coons.
Oh, for real?
Oh, and they're enormous.
That's what's up.
Absolutely huge. Chris holds the big smoky grey one.
Yeah.
And Chris is a big lad,
Yeah.
He holds him, and his back paws are literally resting on Chris's arm, and his front paws are over, and he's standing full spread. And they're huge.
Huge.
What beautiful faces as well. Very elegant, very regal looking faces.
Yeah.
Incredible.
All cats to me they have that regal pose, like
they do.
And it's funny, we talk about it, like how they'll either come and they'll be sitting somewhere, and like that's very much so their spot for the moment. If you tend to move them from that spot, something happens. and it's like,
Oh,
oh
they
well,
kick off. Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, it you pissed off the cat gods.
Yeah.
That's what we call it because it's funny as hell.
Come
Stuff
and
was bound to
steal your
happen.
dreams in the night.
Yeah. Oh, they do travel though. That's the cool thing about cats. Like
Yeah.
they're very, very spiritual creatures. They're innately spiritual, much like we are. And basically they're feline trickies because they have the sight for otherworldly things.
I think probably then the old myth that cats have got 9 lives,
Yeah.
I would say if they travel, they might be living
Yeah.
9 lives.
Yeah. Usually I would say that too. Much like yeah, they'll have weird moments and it's like this life can be preserved but at the same time that's like giving up of one of the others or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've known cats like they should be dead and they're not, and I was like, well, he used one of his 9 lives. Well, one of them probably did come to its fruition. So
Yeah.
he, like in that same moment, this one
That
was,
that simultaneous
yeah,
quantum moment.
yeah, this one was glitching out, so they're like, oh wait, I got some extra, and they merged because I'm done
Yep.
here. High five,
Yep.
tag team.
I'm out. It's over to
Yeah,
you.
right. And that's much like we've talked about the deja vu, simultaneous time flash moments, and a lot of mine are kind of like that. I swear on the way out, I've high fived myself because it's like, oh
Yeah.
shit, like the events that led up to that.
Did both high and low.
Oh
You just
yeah,
all of it in.
on the
Yeah.
way back, like
Bam.
yes,
See you later, guy.
oh yeah, you get out there, good game. So,
Yeah.
very much so. Like because I mean, in those moments too, it's for the smallest bit, the symphony of the universe leads back along that entire timeline.
Strand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like this little
Back to the
thread. You can literally,
source.
yeah, and you can literally pluck on that thread, and you'll see exactly what caused that fruition or that demise.
Yep.
Whatever, I don't look at it as either way. It's culmination.
Mm.
So it's very strange, but it's also really cool because at the same time, much like you, that is it's hard to accept. You're like, what the fuck did I just witness? At the same time, it becomes, you know, it, once you have that acceptance. I think Red Knight shared something earlier about the rabbit hole thing. It's essentially that. Uh-oh, you on the phone? So it's
No,
just,
no, I was just swapping the screen layout so we're side by side.
gotcha. I was like, he's hitting the button.
Yeah. What time is it? Oh, it's too early to hit the button.
Well, it's 2 o'clock here. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I was waiting for your 420, not mine.
2 more hours. Two
Yeah.
more hours. Who took the jam out your donut?
Who took the jam out of your donut? It's Snatch. We were talking
Yeah,
about it
yeah,
last night.
yeah. I got home for a little bit yesterday. I had to, back and forth because, well, I was in the midst of work and still doing things and cleaning up and all of it. So
I've just been watching Monkey Works.
yeah.
He says there's a lot of fires over America at the moment.
Oh yeah. Let's put it this way: the stormtroopers have practiced.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But yes, there. I mean, not to joke. Yes, but it's happening in a lot of other places too. Like much like you were saying the other day, the rainforest and stuff. That's the cancer. Like, was that you?
Uh-huh. I don't think so.
Oh wait, I think Starcon shared that. It was like a
Okay.
Yeah, he shared it. Where the man was talking like, the forests that are burning, we're at that point where we're going back to nature, and it very well could be too late. I don't think it is, because there's always progress, there's always rebirth, and part of rebirth does equal, death in a way, but death is not symbolic, it's paradoxical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
I
transition. That's all.
right. It's, and we're very much so in a birthing process. So, I mean, very literally, that has uh, all kinds of meanings and can be construed into metaphors any type of way, really.
Well, I
So,
believe that because we are in the birthing process of a new age,
right,
and the fact that we're in the age of Aquarius, um, brings together um, two distinct definitions of what the future will be.
right.
And with a bit of luck, no, not with luck at all. I'll say it. When the divine feminine energy takes over again, the
Yeah,
world will know peace.
yeah, and um, I see that transition, and
Mm.
I, it's kind of, it has this, like, I would want to express it in color, but words don't describe that in a way. It's like how we see the different foldings of the chakras all into one, but it's not like a modge podge of color to where it makes that shitty brown gray color. That's where we are in that shitty brown gray color, poking up out of the shit, like you were saying, is where we're getting to, and hell, we can see the color of the earth now, and you know, uh, coming from underground, everything's dark and just shitty, and now you come out and you see all the hues and the vibrancy of nature. That's essentially what
It's
it
akin
is.
to a birth. Yeah.
Right, right, and the world's seeing it. The world's seeing it, and when I say the world, I mean the planet, literally the essence, the existence of Earth as a realm is moving on. So, like, it's the Left Behind series almost kind of flashes to mind, just because it's like people are choosing that. It's, I don't look at it as a get on board or be left behind. I feel like we're all on board,
Mm.
but the
Mm-hmm.
conductor's saying all on board, and some people are like, nah, fuck it, I'm getting off. Yeah, they haven't. They're not waiting, for the exit. They're still. They've been waiting. They're like, I'm not waiting
They're
anymore. I'm
leaping
getting off.
for it.
Right, and they're too eager almost, and it becomes, well, they leave just as it's leaving, and then we become victims again because, well, shit, it left me.
Yeah.
Well, that became choice in a way.
Yeah. It left me. I'll
Right,
point at it.
right. And then we got all of the me's saying, "Hey, dumbass," because they're
Yeah.
pointing right back at
If you'd have
yourself.
been stood there 3 minutes ago, you'd have been on that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or if you wouldn't have got off to go get some baubles, or souvenirs, or just you had to pee, hold it for a minute.
And the thing is, when they say, "Will another one be along anytime soon?" Well, no, I'm sorry. This isn't like
No, this
a
is it. Yeah,
set system. This is a one chance in a lifetime thing.
right. Uh, well, this is a culmination into the cycle. It goes like this. It's the spiral. It's the cycle. it doesn't go back and forth. It's on its way. And the beautiful analogy that I've come up with, and I was thinking about this, I was visualizing, I was meditating on it, and talk about just, able to let my wings rest, as it were, but still travel, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The little threads, grabbing them and pulling and swinging like Tarzan. And that is like the existence through this live stream of the universe. And sometimes, yeah, we catch that snake or something and we kind of fall a little bit, but and
There's a ladder coming up in the next go.
right. You're gonna get swung back up because that next vine is like got more momentum to it now. So like you're constantly swinging into the future, as it were, but it's
swinging from the vines of life, baby.
right. And what the most strangely beautiful part is that letting go into the grasping of the next. And I see that's where like the earth is, that kind of birthing process in a way.
That's what this is.
Was him.
That's my inner vine screaming to get out.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes. So yes. That's cool. Wow. Shucks, I'm speechless.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It's my inner vine screaming to get out of me. And it will continue. It will it'll go into my smaller pit of my arm.
Yeah.
And come out of my arm, and it'll wrap itself right down my arm, and another few branches will go down my chest and so on. So complete vine,
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas has got tattoos, Jenna. Got a couple, haven't you, mate? One on each shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can, 1 sec. I'm trying to, like I said, I still have a few muses going on, but there.
Yeah.
That's my owl. That's the coat of arms.
Yeah, coat of arms. Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. I've still got plenty of blank canvas to fill.
And it will be done. It will be done. Man, it's funny. I was telling my mom about it. She was like, "No," because she doesn't like them. She likes them because they're good works. And a little shout out to my cousin. He's the one that's done them. He's about to have a baby. Yay! So yeah. Something that was unexpectedly brilliant, I believe, because it was one of those things not thought possible. And oh man, a blessing.
Well, how about this? I've got now 12 tattoos.
Oh, nice. I have no idea how many I will have,
but I haven't paid for one of them.
Nice, even better.
It's been completely free ink.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's good ink too. It's like, because it's there. It tells a story.
Yeah.
It's your story.
Yeah. It is. Each and every bit of it has something attached to it. So yeah.
Yes. And mine do too. I've seen many more. I don't really just want to tell them because it's it's almost the image is there for me and the story is there, but part of it is leaving it to the artist's interpretation and creation, because that's that conversation, that's that tandem. So much like divination and energy work, it's a conversation. I did this the other day. It's not go into these things without expectation. That expectation becomes a condition. That condition becomes a limitation, and through that limitation, it will never uphold that that assumption of what should be, and I just go and let it be. And
Absolutely.
and no matter where the interpretation comes from, it's what sits right with you and the message that it comes out of your heart space. Much like the gifts, that
Well,
unconditional. You know your truth. You know your message. You know your ideals. Your story.
it's funny because
Mm-hmm.
Cher and I
Mm-hmm.
were such good mates that we can have a conversation that's almost could be on the verge of, getting into an argument, but we never
Yeah.
go any further. Now, what I'm meaning to say by this is we've got two very, very different views on how the world is going to go. Cher is very grounded. She works with figures and numbers, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
She's very, very grounded and sees any forward plans being set in this reality.
Yeah.
So it comes with the costs and everything.
Yes.
Whereas I am flowing like water right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm saying to her, listen, if this is meant to be, it will happen. And for the life of her, she's trying to bring me back down to the ground and saying, look, mate, if it doesn't happen, we've got to
Go ahead and take
consider
over
everything.
just for a second, brother. I'm sorry. I got to take the call real quick.
Okay, mate. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so guys, it's all right to have two conflicting opinions. It's how you both get through it. Cher's very grounded. I'm very, well, I suppose you could say daydreamy. Over here, they sometimes call it a pipe dream. Well, yeah, okay. But let's say if Nikola Tesla had the thoughts and loads of dreams, but it never came to fruition. So everything has to start as a concept, some kind of dream, something you can pin something on and say, well, this is what I'm envisaging. It might take a long time to actually get to that point, but I'll envisage it. Nevertheless, I will manifest it in my mind over and over again, not like a plan in my mind, but like a fully laid out, organized plan to make something special and dynamic and where people want to be. Just my ideas. And Cher keeps pulling me back to the reality and going, hang on a minute, because we're going to need to do this. It's going to be really hard work and all. Yeah, it's going to be hard work. And at first, that hard work will show. But this is not the world I wish to do that in. My dream doesn't exist in this reality. My dream exists in the next one, the one we're moving into. When Jasara and Nasara are implemented and this silly scandemic goes away, well then, base our plans on doing good for good people, and away we go. Sounds like a plan to me. Med beds, extraordinary travel, which means it won't cost you anything hardly to get over to the States anymore. You do the journey in about, I don't know, an hour. Well, it takes an hour from me to get from here, where I live, to Birmingham. So it's great. Imagine I'm going to pop to New York for the day. Boom. New York shopping, do your thing. Boom. back home for tea. Lovely. Tesla towers, free energy, anti-grav stuff. So hiring cranes and things are out because you just get an anti-grav to pick it up and put it in. It's how I see it moving forward. To all those patents being released and us having a reality back that we're meant to be already being, and we haven't, have we? We've been held back by science, biology, physics, government, education in general, truth, history. So, needless to say, we're not at our peak, and it's going to be very, very difficult to get into our heads very, very quickly that the technology to be a better class of race, we've had it for ages, and they just haven't let us have it. They've kept it for themselves, and they've done everything for themselves. Of course they have. Self-serving Kabbalists. They're not after him, they're after us, remember. He's just in the way. You're muted still, dude. Oh, okay. Yeah, so yeah, I like a bit of daydreaming. Nothing comes together or to fruition without starting with the daydream. Accomplish many things I used to dream about doing. Me too. Me too. Me too. And we will, Helen. We'll do just exactly that. You're right, Daniel. By the way, Daniel, it's lemon haze. Just so you know, I saw that question earlier. It is basically just magnets. Everybody thinks that Tesla was very interested in electricity. Well, he wasn't. In fact, he became bored with electricity really quick when he realized what they were doing with it, generating it and earthing it off so that they could produce a bill for each and every household. Perfect. And so he moved on to magnetics, and magnetics showed him a whole different delivery system for electricity and how to harness it, of course. No moving parts. It's magic. It could be construed as magic because it literally pulls electricity out of thin air. And so they couldn't have that now. Oh no, oh no. We can't be giving people the chance to run their own electric cycle because we couldn't generate a bill. And so that's why Nikola Tesla died alone in an apartment that he'd been living in a hotel for years. Lonely, poor, sad wreck of a man at the end, because by people like J.P. Morgan and the other big names, literally declared war on his state of freedom and made it so this man won't be recognized, but you can't hold that kind of thing in. It gets out. And before long, of course, other people have the same concept. And suddenly they realize what Tesla was on and what he was on board with. And the truth comes out, and then people start getting killed. They have tried at every single level to stop you being what they are afraid of. How you doing, brother? You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Hi.
Hi. I just went off on a tangent.
Oh yeah, I was with you. It's been a good one. I was also kind of here too, but yeah.
Everything okay?
Oh yes, good things. Good things.
Yay.
Yes. But I'm expecting an email very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Amelia's in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
Hi,
see.
Amelia. During the day when I finish this sock. So we Sony, yeah, we do Sony Tesla technology now. It would be it'll be one of the first major systems put into place. It'll be literally the start of a whole new age.
Yeah. It's the returning to Atlantis. It's the Camelot consciousness. Where how you were saying the divine feminine. Well, as that reignites, the siring of knights and kings is coming about. Those that are chivalrous and honorable without condition. It becomes that place where the knights of mythology and or legend, that whimsical state, not the Prince Charmings or the damsel in distress, a true knight.
And let me just explain to the folks that are listening for a moment.
Please do.
That they were always known as Knights of the Realm.
The Knights of the Realm.
The realm, not of the place or the earth. Knights of the Realm. And therein lies a clue to why hidden history has been done by the Smithsonian, because they don't want us to know that there are gateways through to other realms. They just don't want us to know, because that would give us too much freedom.
Yeah, I mean, for real though, because we break loose from those shackles, those conditionings, those programs. Yes, because not that's a mindset. I like to go back to movies. I use movies as reference because what it's put in our face. It's prevalent. Yeah. So why not point at the picture and say, look, that picture means this, or I might think it means this. Same thing we did with art galleries, just now we do with TV. So
yeah.
In that
so what film
sense,
have you got in mind?
Kingdom of Heaven. It talks about the Crusades.
Yeah.
Absolutely one of my definitely top 5 medieval movies. Monty Python, Holy Grail is like 2. Yeah. That doesn't count though. That's like everything and anything all in one.
The Holy Grail comes way down my list.
Way down?
The Life of Brian is above that.
Oh, well, all right. So just Monty Python, yes. I'm saying medieval-esque type. Yeah. So
but the film that comes to mind for me would be The Last Knight, the Transformers film.
Yes. And that is a brilliant way, because it's that advancement, that sense of we're not alone in the universe, and it's like that knightly persona is here, and it's, you know, trying to encourage it because the potential is there. They look at what these movies say, like how they look at humans in this weird way, or they look at them in condescending manner, but there's admiration, there's respect, and eventually there is humility in what was perceived, because the potential, that growth, that boundless nature that humans are just so capable of.
Now you're talking about every Rocky movie ever made. Now,
exactly. And oh, I was thinking just then also of Guardians of the Galaxy. You know,
yeah.
I mean, outside perspective, you know, consciousness is that celestial being, and in that same sense, like those that are closest or of that, you know, still had that potential to overcome and also be better, you know.
I'm just seeing what they're putting there. I've got my phone here. If I keep looking across this way.
Yeah, me too. I'm on mine, so.
Phone, yeah.
I'm
so I can
actually,
see the chat.
Yeah, my chat's down here, and I've got different windows, and yeah.
It's surprising, really, on just how many films almost have just told you a story that's so unbelievable. Because they've conditioned us to think it's unbelievable.
Yeah. That's that whimsical and that fantasy and that, you know, profound imagination that we have as a child. We don't realize that's the universe. That is very much so existence, and it's all there. You're it, and
the grass looks greener, and the corn looks higher, and it all looks amazing when you're a kid.
Right. And when we say that same concept as adults, we're putting those conditions on it. We're putting those
limitations.
And I saw one of the funniest posts a while, but not really funny. It's really actually like snarky. It's when you look at the grass is greener on the other side. Hell, pick up a hose, motherfucker, and start watering.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what you got. Why are you standing on dead grass? You know, it's yeah. So
Gaines. Yes, I have seen The Dark Crystal all the way through, the old one and the new series.
Wasn't the new series very like? I was appreciative.
You know, I was appreciative as well, but I see what he's driving at, because it really mirrored the underworld taking the chrome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
For sure. I mean, and that was what, back in the 70s?
Early 80s, I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, 84 maybe.
Maybe, no, I was younger than that. I think about 81, 82.
Okay. I mean, that was like a pivotal thing for me growing up. Like that was my childhood. Oh yeah, Rihanna said something. To learn like a child learns forever. Yeah, there's like massive wisdom just in that right there. You know?
Yeah,
pick that
absolutely
apart.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's what
I'm
in a team. Driving to get back to.
Yeah, getting back to that child state. You know.
Yeah.
It's. I talk about us being old souls, and I talk about, you know, being older than what I am or what I look, and it's like whatever the case is, I'm a perpetual kid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I will always be that fool, and if you ever see me when I'm not, well, hey, let me know you see me so I can get out of whatever I'm in and be like, oh shit, all right, thank you. Back to my foolishness. So
there you go. It was 1982, mate.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking 84, but I guess that's because we were talking about conditioning and shit. So.
Well, I just pictured where I was at that time, where I would be sat watching that film, and it took me right back to about 11, 12.
Yeah,
definitely.
well,
Because
we
that's the
had
good
it
thing
on.
about my birthday. I was born in 1970.
Right
So
on the
it's
cusp
just,
of
I
awesome.
just have to count 10 years up for the
Yeah,
decades. It's
yeah,
great.
it's very wholesome and round number.
Mm, it is. It is.
Oh yes, oh yes. MGMT is like the shit. Familia's still in. She'd be rocking it right now. That's like one of her faves.
Who's that? Sorry.
You don't know MGMT? Oh shit, we're gonna.
I know the group MGMT.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
Brianna was saying "Kids," their song. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, I missed that bit. Yeah. Are you sorting the cards out?
I feel like another tree draw. I don't know if you noticed the other day, like it was slightly different than usual. That's because that's kind of how it fell out, and it resembled a tree to me. So I thought it was kind of serendipitous.
Go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
neat because as I shuffled and stuff, like cards just, I mean, a whole stack of them just literally fell out, and that was them. And I was like, well, I'll be down.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's really cool how that stuff happens. It's.
It's nice when the cards go, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they always do. It's like, I don't necessarily pick them.
Yeah. Hi, Brie. How you doing, love?
Oh, but. Oh. Yeah, I got a good email coming in. Once it gets here and I'm able to review it, I'll share.
Okay. Okay. Can I ask what it's about? Or would you rather keep that as a bit of a...
We'll let that be suspenseful.
Okay.
I'm in the Willy Wonka phase right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Bit of suspense doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah. Actually, I think it improves because it's fun. Like, yeah, I take the Willy Wonka perspective on that immensely. Good old Gene Wilder.
Oh, yes.
The suspense is killing me. I hope it lasts.
I love it I love his sarcasm.
Oh yes, it's the greatest. Like
when the kids are eating the sweets and he goes, "Oh no, don't stop!
Yes.
Everybody stop!" But he doesn't shout it; he just stays really quiet.
No, yeah, he's so nonchalant. He's as matter of factly, and that's an enjoyable state of being as well. Because much like we were saying earlier, playing the game, walking away from the table, or even just being in it and allowing yourself to progress through it. Not just because. Speaking of games, we've been slowly getting to like constant MMO style games, massive multiplayer online. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. WoW and such. It has levels, it has progression, but there's like always the expanse. There's always, and that becomes, that idea of it's never ending, or there's always that extra. That's that that's that conditioning, that's that limitation. Like, there's always something else, which in truth, there is always something out there.
Well, it's
but we are
because
still progressing through it, and we need to get back to that Mario style things, like boing, just allow yourself to
we are
hear that.
finite beings.
Yeah, allow yourself to.
So we can't understand infinity. It boggles our mind.
Yeah.
It's like if you said, "Well, there's the universe, but what's on the other side of when it ends?" And that that has driven very clever men mental.
Oh yes, and rightfully so. Simply for the fact that it kind of odes to insignificance,
Yeah.
which is not the case because I don't believe there's any such thing. Um, the smallest bubble inside of a algae plant contains all the building blocks of life and universal oneness. So, what makes us in our realm any different than that little bubble that sits on top of algae floating down the river?
Yeah.
I mean, you honestly cannot say there is a stark contrast between the two because, hell, we very well could possibly be it, and it very well could possibly be some microverse that is everything that we are, just smaller. So,
yeah,
one of those things.
microcosm.
Yeah, macros. Getting back to that, embracing yourself, embracing your gifts, that unconditional love, that unconditional vibe and flow and love is the macro, but it starts right here in the micro.
Oh yeah,
because that's where it originates.
Oh yeah. I've been having some I've been having some very, very beautiful visualizations whilst meditating.
Oh yes.
And I can only akin them to literally the lotus flowers opening.
It's beautiful you said that. I have a story.
And they're in magenta and green, which means, I know I'm pushing love out.
Well, I thought
Where'd
I
you
was
go?
coffee.
You were there when I started the conversation. I looked away, you turned back, you'd gone.
I apologize. I thought I was getting more coffee.
Oh, okay.
Nah, it's out. Restart, please, sir. Apologies.
I forget what I was saying, to be honest.
The
lotus flowers.
Yes. All right. So, yeah. Visualization and meditation. We're going to do some of that today, by the way, folks. Stick around.
Stick around.
Speaking of, since you say lotus, a lotus flower depicted in a effigial style 2D formation. Whoa. Hey. Aha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is part of the, is it S8?
What?
S8, which is the most complex geometric form known to life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So
E8.
Yeah,
I think
that thing that's up above me, the Merkaba, within itself, on top of itself, it kind of it makes a lotus, but the depiction of the lotus could also be construed as peach. The mind will go to the picture of a lotus, but it could be the peach seed essentially, like the seed to fruit in one facet. And either or are both symbolic of life's fruition. The peach is actually symbolic of immortality, and that like it is the succulent nature of things. It is
in Chinese folklore,
right.
That's very much so.
Yeah, and people look at it as a lotus because it is depicted much like the yoga style lotus symbolism from India. And if you put them side by side, you really wouldn't be able to tell the difference unless you knew what you're looking at.
Yeah.
And the peach and the folklore becomes that basically essentially the fountain of youth. And
the peach elixir of life.
The fruit, the fruit of the tree of life.
Yeah.
And it's a peach tree.
It is.
So, but also, hell, it could be a fig tree. You know, it could be a. It could honestly be whatever it wishes itself to be. Um, so yes.
Yeah, just beautiful visualizations coming to me in the form of kaleidoscopes at first,
Yes.
and then they
Kaleidoscope is a
drop.
beautiful way of putting it.
Yeah, they drop in and they kaleidoscope with each other, and then as it all calms down, the whole image comes together and makes an opening lotus flower. And I'm seeing them in all shades of green, almost to white.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm seeing him in all shades of magenta, almost to white at the end.
Nice, nice,
It's such a beautiful feeling to have.
nice. Uh, it's funny. Like just a second ago, right before you were talking about the lotus, and before I stepped away, I did a card basically thrust itself out,
Yeah.
and it's essentially like our main topic for the day, and as well as just life in general. Um, let me. It's self-explanatory, but let me give you the adage to it.
Yeah.
So that's what we got.
Down a bit, mate. I can't see it because of the light. Oh, what's that? Is that contentment?
Commitment,
Commitment, right.
and it's 3 and 6, so it's going to make a 9, and that is the culmination of a spiral. Like 6 is the spiral that begins, and
It's
like
369. It's Tesla numbers as well.
yeah, 369. Yes, it is. So isn't that all right? So getting over the cool synchronicities and the trippiness of that, a true commitment
Yeah.
is a responsibility of the heart, mind, body, and soul. This is a good time to make one, and I really see it as you know the commitment of self, like how we've been saying, progress, embracing our gifts, that unconditional commitment to self, that commitment to higher being, that commitment to fulfilling that higher self.
The freedom to allow yourself to.
Yes, that is our commitment, and that is sole purpose. That is, that self indulgence almost. And indulgence seems like a lesser term in this moment, but that is part of that self care, that need. So our commitments, and also this kind of echoes back to like the bone collector that we've had many times.
Yeah.
What commitments have we made? What soul contracts are we latched onto? Like being 9, it's a
Who owns
culmination.
us?
What?
Who owns us?
Right, right. And 9 is the ending of the cycle, because after 9, it's 1-0 back to 1. It's begin anew. So, like, commitments have been fulfilled, commitments have been achieved. Your debt has been paid in a way. So, this is the message. Realize what commitments you've made. Realize the commitments that you've lacked. Realize, make that commit a new commitment unto self and for growth and healing and releasing. And then, which ones have come to fruition? Which ones have this is more of, instead of a message, it's an assessment.
Yeah.
Assessment of self. So
Yeah. Let's take a look deep inside, guys.
right, right. So, and that's essentially what today is: holding that space. Holding
Yeah.
that, holding your soul.
Yeah. We've been shown some truths lately, guys,
Yeah.
and you've all reacted really, really well. Um, and you know, it's all that can be asked of you is to maintain a nice, steady,
Mm-hmm.
solid, loving nature, regardless of the what life throws at you.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So let's see. Tesla's five letters, correct?
Say again, my friend.
Tesla is 5 letters, correct?
It is.
All right. So since we're all about that 369,
You may as
code.
well go with 5.
We'll go with 5, and it will be another tree.
Yep.
So
Okay.
tell me where to start from, left or right.
Has this tree got a trunk?
It does.
Can I start there?
You can, yes.
Thank you.
Um, all right. I think
Number
I'm
2.
holding it actually. Yeah. So yeah, the foundation of the tree. You know, it's blossoming. Its culmination is that commitment. And this one, the spark is that foundation, that the roots of the tree.
Yeah, I was just saying, keep your dreams alive.
Right.
Keep your dreams alive. It's the fruition to which you work towards.
Yes. I'm just gonna go down the line here. I think it fits. All right. All right. So oh man, this is great. Oh yes, this is great. So oh man. Oof.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good message. Let me kind of let my space become a little chaotic and it's functioning now. It's need to organize just a little bit. All right. So
Organized chaos. I
yeah,
love
we
it.
have our commitment, right?
Yeah.
Our perception, our place of being is rescue.
Ah.
Who are we rescuing with this commitment? Ourselves. Who are we? You know, so it is 1 in 6, 7. So that divine number, that hard break in our assessment and our vision and our perception. You know, take a stark contrast look at self is what 7 always says to me. You know, because it's that on that line and it hard breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then our expectations are the intentions and become the intentions, you know, the egg of that commitment. You know, what do we expect from those commitments, all of
Yeah.
that, you know. So 2 and 2 is 4, you know, rounds back
Okay.
down to 2. It's that perpetual, you know, that how we perception, duality, all that good stuff. Doom doorbell. So our our uh our way, our kind of hindrance ends up being like a reversed unexpected visitors.
Your
Um,
doorbell's just gone. That's mad.
yeah. Um, yeah. And in that same way, you know, it is this sense where we have an idea where it becomes those times where the doorbell rings and it's maybe not fortuitous or whatever the case is. 1 second.
This is Charles here to see you.
Okay. Did you let him know I'll be a minute?
I'll take the reins a minute. Okay, man. Okay. Share, no, you're not having a dog. Charles, yeah, Avon calling. Absolutely. Ding dong, mate. Ding dong. Thomas, somebody turning up with Thomas's bag of Viagra. Yeah, I'll just be a minute. Oh, don't be like that, love. Don't be like that.
Howdy.
Here he is. Gaines had put your Viagra delivery had just turned up.
Yes. Spelunking. I needed my spelunking materials. Yeah. But so all right, perfect opportunity for this card. Oh my gosh. So unexpected visitors, even though it comes in reverse, and we're like, oh, that's how we feel about those unexpected visitors, right? Like, oh, this why I need this moment.
Yeah.
Release that. Don't have that expectation. Don't have that assumption, because
That's right.
just then it becomes a blessing in disguise. It becomes that opportunity for growth in self, or an opportunity to plant seeds. So right then it was just, there's a brother of mine. Hey man, I just need a little help. It happened to be I had help right in my pocket.
Okay.
I mean, he was like, this wasn't what I asked for, and I was like, that's what I'm giving you. It's there, and I'm not worried about it. There are no expectations. So handle your business. It's all good. So in that
Pay
same
it forward, brother.
right, unexpected visitors, because hey, somewhere along the line that message gets carried on their way. And so what's beautiful is that unexpected help that comes is the magic prayer. Yeah, so like having that faith, having that intention, remember that persona, that blessing, that freely given self to the universe. Prayers are answered, prayers are received, and oh man, it just talk about just the mwah, and back to the foundation. Where is that foundation but that divine spark, that oh man, I'm freaking buzzing over here. I got goosebumps. Like
yeah, good man.
Yeah, it's
good man. And what a good man you are for helping your friend out. I love that.
I mean, look, why the other day I was looking back to Kingdom of Heaven. He's got a French he's a French blacksmith, and there's something carved into the timbers over his forge. And as the knights pass through, it's a German man. He says, "Hey, what does that mean?" And he says it's Latin, and he says, "What man is a man who does not make the world a better place?"
Yeah.
And that's daily practice. Back to that embracing your gifts. How can we allow ourselves the most, I don't want to use the word gain, but benefit, most exuberance to our soul and ourself? Make the world a better place. How so? By being better. There's not a condition to that. There's not a limitation to that.
It's not rocket science.
Yeah, it's simple. It becomes, oh, you're it, right? It's, well, hell, man, why do I find myself in just a shitty place, and people around me, I get flipped off every time I go grab my mail or whatever. Well, hell, man, take a little moment to be like, what the hell's happening here? What commitments have I made or haven't made? See, that's the other aspect. What commitment did you not make that maybe went miscommunicated or misunderstood, and it fell through because of miscommunication? And I mean, we look at it as like karma coming around, like, oh hell, what the hell did I do? Don't take that karmic debt. Don't take that karmic limitation. It is unconditional. So self love,
like water,
right,
flowing.
Like, and so if you want to look at it back to like a biblical perspective, the Lord made a commitment to all of creation, that unconditional love. If you look at it just straight from a spiritual point of view, just without the context of religion, which is how me and we see things, this channel, what it's all about, because the confines of religion creates conditions and limitations.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking I had a moment of it a movie playing out in my head. I just thought to myself, that didn't go well for God, did it?
Well,
Showing us unconditional love, because half of the angels went on a bit of a tangent towards war.
yeah. Well, with that, in the same sense of that division, where did that first commitment lie? To the unexpounded view of identity in all of itself is where source came from, right? You know, the commitment to fully expound on what is self and the identity of self in all of its makings and facets. And that came from a place of unconditional love to self, right? Because you have to accept who you are and what you are to have that commitment and unconditional love.
Well, if you think about it this way, which has just been a very quick download for me.
Yeah.
Now imagine the whole Trump plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently that plan's been in play for decades now.
Yeah.
To bring the Earth back. So immediately the film that went off in my head was, did God create humanity to see what the angels would do?
Legion.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, where it's not the demons that take over, it's the angels because of spite.
Yeah.
Which in a way, all right. So I've had discussions about this, and I've also had arguments about this. You know, not all angels are your friends. Well, or that, and I say that just because there is that duality within the angel ranks, and that goes back to, well, the splitting of identity in that sense of who and what is. But that's older than our biblical personification of it. That is something that goes back to the creation of angels. You know, it wasn't because of man, it was because of creation. You know, the that spark. So our foundation, you know, Michelangelo's the finger touching, that was God touching creation as a facet of creation. And to beings who are innately committed to obedience in its highest form, which instills that angelic sense of source righteousness, right? Now figures out that it's only a part of itself, and in a way rejected self.
I'm with you.
And that is where division occurred. Like our expectations or our shadow self, essentially, you know, that is that light bulb. In higher beings, it manifested their shadow presence or their fallen nature.
And I don't know if everybody's up to speed on kind of, because I'm seeing God at the moment as being against a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
In as much that when half of the angels decided to break and create war, it wasn't long afterwards, after he'd thrown the Nephilim to the earth, that he took Enoch.
Yeah, and brought him to heaven.
And he made him into an angel.
Yeah, and to the scribe.
And set him to the scribe. And as a measure of you will do as you're told to the rest of the angels,
Yeah.
Enoch is the only one that is seated.
Yep.
All others must kneel.
And there were
And
a
it must,
particular
and
few.
say again, mate.
I was saying there were a particular few who were outraged by this.
Oh, yeah.
And this is after the division. This is after the fall.
Was it Uziel?
Uziel, Samael, and Gabriel.
And Gabriel, yeah.
See, Gabriel
Yeah.
has always had a profound love, but he was the doubting Thomas on angelic plane. And much like the movie Legion, how you're saying, it is Gabriel who comes down and saves humanity, because he sees that potential. He sees God's premise, but even though God hurt him in a way, he was able to accept that and come to terms with it because he saw, he witnessed the reasoning, basically.
Yeah.
But yes, like so Samael is one of those spiteful ones.
Yeah.
He is actually a burned angel, and he is wreathed in fire. He has flaming wings, and the reason why is because he, in that moment where Metatron was made and he was forced to bow, he didn't. And God, I mean, just smited him basically to the nth degree, but left his being intact. So this didn't really, this made him more so an enemy of God instead of humans. You know, he is now, so the Luciferian mythos is directly related to Samael, because that's who that is attached to, is the suggestive serpent towards humanity is that Samael rejection to God.
Yeah.
But right after that, just to prove a point that just because he may have chosen Metatron his favorite, the same fire that he crispied Samael, he made into a whip and lashed Metatron 80 times. So, and it was all taken. It was like, this is the will of the Lord thing. And this is all from a pre-biblical perspective, because it's Enochian. So, and that is like before the time of Elijah. Elijah was like a grandson student of Enoch. Like, and they're the two E's are the only ones that have ascended, to the physical plane of heaven in that regard. Like, they were brought there. Which is funny. So the flaming chariot wheels that took away Elijah, what if that was Samael on a kind of another mission? Like, hey, you think you can swallow your pride enough to do this again and see what you? It was another test in a way, for the angels. But the one angel that mattered because, well, he caused influence. Well, not necessarily. You see what happened to him. That became locker room talk, if that makes sense. Oh man, he pissed coach off today. It's making him run crazy. But hell, 2 weeks later, that's like the star player, because, well, hell, he put that effort in. He didn't back. He didn't back down from the punishment. He accepted it and improved himself.
Yeah, he didn't show defiance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He may have showed doubt and questioning, and but in the same sense of the punishment, he was not abrasive. There we go, abrasive to it, because, well, it offered that growth. Much like the goblins, of our psyche. They come in, they start, that's the shadow self. Well, it only presents itself in that form to show you where the growth is needed.
Exactly.
So take this moment to get you a good, just calm breath,
All
straighten
all
up.
the tests of the Lord were laid out in a way that would show everybody what was happening.
Yes, and that is a test unto
Open
himself
source, if you
too.
will.
Right, that's a test unto himself too.
Yeah.
Like, why do we humans do things? Acknowledgement and experimentation. It's the only two basic, bare minimum levels of human intelligence as it is perceived in existence.
Yeah.
I know that's a little out there, but is acknowledgement and experimentation. One, hey, look what I did. Two,
Yeah.
look what I did.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Look, I can do it again.
right. And magic tricks. So if we're all the source and all source is us, the source did the same thing. Look what I can do. I am, so therefore I shall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and that comes from a place of chaos. That comes from a place of primordial energy, and that's what it and it takes that within this being, within this vessel, to have that spiritual, nudge to, or awakening, or whatever
As
you
part
wish.
of the whole Metatron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's only since it's kind of like I found my angel.
In Metatron.
No.
Which, and whom?
Enoch.
Oh, okay, yeah, because he was man, and man ascended in all of its glory. And
Now, it's ever since I've been focusing my prayer-like intention
right.
towards him, because I had a little moment of clarity. I don't know whether you've been aware of this, but the only way the angels can talk to God is through Enoch.
Yeah. Yeah. And
well, then why
because
should we be
Enoch
any
is at the
different?
ear, or Enoch is the ear of the Lord, essentially. The
Yes.
word that is spoken goes through his ears, and he writes it down.
That's why I chose him, because if the angels can only speak to God through him,
right,
why would we be any different?
Hey, you must go through the word, and the word is being written. So go to the writer and say, hey, knock on that bell at the hotel. Said, is there room for one more? I have a question.
I appeal to his humanity,
Right.
because he knows what it is to be man.
Exactly.
And I ask him the questions that I need. Well, more, I rarely set a question.
Yeah.
What I quite often start with is there anything I need to know right now at this time?
What is the message that's being told? Because what is he but the messenger, Hermes? Hermes Trismegistus. And like, it's funny how there's all these reincarnations of the same beings, of the same souls. Like,
Yeah.
you might not believe in it, you might not think yourself capable of it, but if you look at the mythos over eons, they're the same story retold to a different culture, to a new way of being, because it has all been growth into this, growth into that. And as we push forth our technology, our intelligence, our knowledge, there will be a new facet of it. And they call it, it's called new age, or it's called, getting back to whatever, the raw, all of this. It's the same. It comes from source. It is the same story. It is the presence of being in a new facet, because we're all that reflection of this identity of source.
So have I got this right biblically? Because there are many questions. There always are.
Oh yes, always.
If Metatron is Metatron and has been whipped by the whip of God,
Yeah.
Then is God the tetragrammaton?
So I saw that. That name came about in Gnostic belief,
Thank you, Spike.
and it came in the sense of how they saw Metatron. They saw Metatron as the prison planet, as the ethos that manufactured this universe from a spiteful means, and that would be like that lashing. The actual lashing created this prison cube. And like in its movie, he did the cube. He talked about how that was the facet of Metatron. Here in Sacred Geometry, it becomes that E8. You know what? I don't even know the word for it, but
I
it's
think it is E8.
yeah. I'm saying like how, but that is a perfect cube. There it's one of those Fibonacci numbers. I think it's
Yes.
1 and 8, and they're the only two that make a perfect cube. And it's like an ever folding, it's a kaleidoscope cube essentially. And Tricky, you said it beautifully that the flowering lotus is breaking free of that paradigm. And what I mean by that is that Gnostic principle where the so it goes back to the Sephira, which was like a kind of a spider deity almost. And but it wasn't a deity. It was like how it's depicted as a spider, and how a female spider will create the most intricate web of things
Yeah.
and lay its eggs all over, but it keeps its main egg sac kind of within itself in a way. That way it perpetuates its existence
Yeah.
in many different forms, but it holds the the brunt of it within itself. Well, she birthed, well, essentially it came down, this was the 36th aspect of divinity. Like the source split into 36 pieces of itself and all of its making. And each of these selves were essentially the old gods, you know, like Lovecraft has talked about them, and some of them are dark. I mean, literally, if you took a facet of identity, personality, energy, and being and manifest it purely of that self, it created 36 pieces. And 3 and
Yeah.
6, 9, culmination, 3,
Yeah.
6, 9. All right, so you see where I'm going here. Well, the
Yeah.
36th incarnation was Sephira, and she was depicted like that of a spider because she was able to see the entire strands of divinity.
1 and 8.
Much like how a spider can be present in any one part of the web and be present wholly because it feels all vibrations through that web.
Yeah.
All right. So she looked at the web and said, if this is me and I am it, I should be able to replicate it. And she birthed her essence, which created essentially a monstrosity because it was a facet of a facet. And you see
Yeah.
where I'm going with this. So every
Yeah.
cutting diamond, it starts to turn and fold in on itself and make a fractal universe. Well, this creation of creation begetted a kind of malignant source. And that is what the Gnostics looked at as Metatron because that's what created physical existence, in spite of the ethereal divinity of it all. Because it was like, oh, I'm part of you, but I'm outside of you because I'm a lesser creation. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, well, I can do one better. It's that proverbial Luciferian mythos. Like, I can be you and I'll do better than you, kind of thing. And that is how the Gnostics viewed our universe. It was that was a prison for creation of it in of itself, and that it was outside of source. I don't adhere to that because it is, sources in all things. That mentality of where, oh, I'm of a lesser or of a smaller piece, so I'm not as significant.
Yeah.
That's where that human nature conditioning comes into play, like that. And I look at it like that. You know, that of course makes a prison of the world. That of course, I mean, you got to
That in
think
itself.
what we think, what we are, what we be creates.
Yeah.
Just like source.
Yeah.
So, in the same sense, if we're going to think we're just a small insignificant piece of that greater thing, and that we don't matter, and that we will do everything we can to be better, without realizing that we're it and just as good and of it.
The idea is,
Yeah.
I believe, for me, is to become relevant,
Yeah.
but not famous
Yeah.
or renowned, just relevant.
Well, yeah, I mean, instead of being like how me and you've talked many times, there's principles of life. Much of it is, offering giving kindness to all passerbys and fellow travelers, offering guidance to those who deem right to stay.
Random acts of
But
kindness.
right. And you don't, but there's no attachment to that. It's because it is. it's it's of things. It is things that you're there with it. It's I'm simplifying it in a poor way, but yeah.
No, it's a great way to explain anything. Is try and get to its base level.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a chance then. It. I keep saying this to my Telegram group, but the thing I am most impressed with that is not the gifts you put up, or the chats or the links or anything.
Yeah.
It's you guys coming together and performing like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
No spanners in the works, no cog teeth missing. You all just manage yourselves beautifully. And hats off to you, because
Yeah.
that coming of the time when you get to know thyself will be that moment where you will allow the world to know you.
Mm-hmm.
And not
Burying
until
yourself. So
not until
like I believe Cher said it a little while back. The Not the vulnerability, but the commitment to bear oneself in the
yes,
entirety. That means
the leap of
vulnerability.
faith it takes to jump out and step off and go,
Yeah.
that's enough.
Right. And here I am. And
And here I am.
yeah, like this is me. How you were talking yesterday, the B side. Um, little tidbits about me. Y'all know I'm a dual fish. There is a reason why there's only two stark dualities in the zodiac, and then there's the Libra, which is also a dual facet, but is the balance.
Yeah.
All right. So that's like the three pillars. It takes three pillars to uphold, the mind, body, the soul. This is part of that fractal nature. All right. Well, much like the twins, the dual fish are a an over exaggerated version of the yin and yang. Y'all see
Yes.
me in a very much yin fashion, and that is me, right? There's also a yang. There's a so like I and it that kind of boils down the choice, and You'll never not have a genuine persona of me. Like I was saying earlier, if you come across me and it's like you start to see the yang in me, hey, let me know. Hey, I see you, and like it will snap me back to that genuine nature because it is a
Yeah.
wholesomeness. It's
Yeah.
not a mask. This is me. It's
Yeah.
so. But there's also times where, yeah, I'm human. I I have my human days, and
We are subject to that. Yeah.
right, like yesterday, I was physically wrecked, but I was in a state of gratitude and you know, productivity. So
Well,
in that, just fuck. I mean, if I sat still, I could just be lazy and apathetic. But it's like, I got things to do and there's work to be done. Let's get it done so that apathy doesn't become a sin; it becomes a reward almost. And
yeah.
that's kind of conditioning too. And I don't mean to sound that way. I've kind of been paradoxical with that, and I told you I would be. Um, so yeah, that whole scheme is
I
what.
I was smiling.
Yeah,
Sorry, mate.
no, you
I'm
good.
I'm I'm somewhat distracted right
Mm-hmm.
now.
What's up?
Well, I've got company.
Uh-oh. Can I take 3 guesses?
No, I've got company.
Oh, you've
Company.
got company. Hey, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right here. Just has appeared twice now, right over my salt lamp.
Yeah. Awesome. What are you
That,
feeling from it? Is it the angels
oh,
or
no, oh
some?
yeah, it's a light energy. It's a beautiful light energy.
Yeah. Nice. That probably is the angels then, because they usually like to come
That's the
when
maddest thing, mate.
it's. I love it too because not only are like our guides, our angels, or they appear when we're right with our soul, when we're right, and we're on that path, that golden thread, like we were talking about. The oh
It's
shit,
it's it's like
yeah,
I've been trying to say to share. Um, like actually relax off,
yeah,
ease off, because if it's going to happen, it will happen.
yeah,
Don't worry about the fidgety bits.
right.
Don't include yourself in the humanism of it.
The patience needed for actualization. Like that's come to me a few times lately. There's calling, there's purpose, and there's adventure. But at the same time, it says, hey, patience, because
Yeah, patience.
let yourself
What were the
be.
two cards you held up, mate?
All right, so y'all know I like my tree and how it is, and the two decks I have, same author, they just work beautifully in tandem. So the message from earlier, our foundation lies in that spark and that divinity, and it grows
Yeah,
into that commitment to soul, self, and source, and it's beautiful. And we have the magic prayer that kind of nudges us along the way,
yeah,
and that unexpected visitors that come in and like, oh, but it's a blessing in disguise. It's not a hindrance. It becomes, you might look at it as, but it ends up being by the end of
yeah,
it, because it's like I needed that. It's that unexpected visitor becomes, it's not a hindrance. It becomes, we almost have two helpers in this. And then our intention, like what we place that commitment to, what we place that spark and that prayer in, and that allows us to rescue self. That's our present, our paradigm. That what's happening now is that rescue, and all of that leads back into that commitment that we've given to self and soul and source, and the commitment that it gave us. Like, I'm here for your highest good. Remember that. Your higher self talks to you. God talks to you. Source
yeah,
talks to you. Angels talk to you. And what they're telling you is like, I'm still here.
yeah,
I'm holding this space for you. Like,
yeah.
your
Well,
guardian angel might roll his eyes, but hey,
come
he's
along when you're
holding you.
ready. Yeah,
Right. So with that, the other realms, the hidden realms deck offer either like past life incarnations or the travelers along the way that have assisted in this. That's the way I like to see it, because we're all travelers, and we might meet ourselves along the way in some form, shape, or fashion, or it's just someone that is meant to be there. Like how you said you met the angel on that bridge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's one in a million.
The strangest of angels, mate. He's about 6'6".
Yeah, that can't be replicated. That was a pure. That was one of these other realm moments.
Yeah.
So, and it's funny too. What's kind of calling out to me from that instance is, the Rainbow Prince.
Okay, and can you give me some info on that?
Well, he's very much so angelic, but he's an earth angel, and that there's a rainbow coming from his hand. When Gaines was here last time with us, he was talking about his Reiki session and how the energy of the universe came out, and it's very much so a rainbow. It's the spectrum of light, because we are light beings, and when we shine it forth, it breaks.
Can you take over for one moment,
Oh,
mate?
yeah,
I've got an itch in my ear hole that's driving me nuts, and I'm gonna have to go and get it.
I understand.
Excuse me a moment, folks.
Yes. So with that expectation, with that rescue, with that unexpected help, we're given that Rainbow Prince, and how it's being that compensation and that preservation of self and love, and that unconditional vibe that within us, have that, and that will sprout those angelic wings and offer that just radiant light. That's us. Okay, earth angels, make it happen. So, and then how all this is in tandem and stuff, another branch becomes the web weaver, and she beckons the nudges of those synchronicities, that divine intelligence, that cause and effect, that duality, the facets of creation, and how in all of it becomes that divine and that presence of source. Web weaver. So that's what I was just covering. And
okay.
So, and it's cool, kind of what we were talking about earlier, the birthing, the knighting, the king, the new Camelot, new Atlantis, that we have the horse king, who brings about, you see, it's, the noble steed, the process, and that's 42. So that's, the cycle,
the faithful companion,
right? Assistance and control and one, the divinity always offers assistance, but your life is within your own control. It's that magic prayer goes up, and it is always answered. But it's funny. It's like that kind of that really overzealous. Oh, God will save me, and the town flooded, and I'm swimming for my life, and a man comes by on a raft, says, "Hey, you need a lift?" "No, God's got me. I'm still swimming."
Yeah, I know this one.
Yeah. And then, a full-on boat comes by and is like, "We got plenty of room and food. Our God's got me. He'll provide." And then dude ends up dying. He's like, "God, what the hell? Thought you had me." And God's like, "Well, shit, I sent you 2 boats and provisions."
Yeah.
So, that assistance is always there.
Yeah.
Recognize that it's there for you to take control of and utilize. So I like this draw. It's a good draw. It's a very powerful draw. And almost feel like there should be one more for some reason. Oh, actually 2 more.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah. They just, oh, wow. So we have the Spiral Dancer. I've never drawn this card. That's cool. She's neat. So the circuitous route and perception, how our perception leads into those spirals, take control of it at the same time. Yeah, that should be over here with the Horse King.
A spiral as well is a controlled descent.
Yes. Yes, because, and it's not descending, it's beginning anew. It's rebirth. You know, the
Yeah.
canal. So
Yeah.
we've talked about this, and it's been replicated over the weeks. I mean, yeah, yeah. I hope y'all do see the parallels and just all the connections we've had with any of the draws on this show, any of the
Yeah. Yeah. It's
conversations
stark.
we've had, all the synchronicities, all the channeling that has been done by me, by you, by various other YouTube channels, which I know I don't watch all of these. I know they're there. It's the message is being brought forth in its
Well, it's
entirety.
been broadcasted loud and clear.
Right.
You've just got to want to hear it.
Exactly. Find your outlet. Find
Your
your way
frequency.
back to source. Yeah. Find your way back to source. It doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be tricky. It doesn't have to be the Bible. It doesn't have to be any piece of literature. Hell, for me, it's taking that one step back, like I did at the beginning of this, and holding that space, holding myself,
Yeah.
taking that breath.
Yeah.
That it's okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's
and
the
then
one.
our only challenger to any of this has been the
Yeah.
sisters of the seasons, and that is cycles of growth, natural law, and divine order. And the only reason why I say this is a challenge is our acceptance of that, the
Yeah.
changing of seasons, the roles we play in the different seasons in our life. You know, are we the fixer? Are we the abused? Are we the abuser? Are we the victim? These are cycles that are inflicted on the human psyche, but in all of that is nothing but cycles of growth of the natural law and that divine order. But the reason why this comes as a challenge is to let you know that that is stuck in that realm of perception where that spiral dancer is. These came in tandem. So that spiral dancer is letting you know, hey, we're in that circuit, in
Yeah.
that flow,
Yeah.
and that's all part of the seasons. But these being in tandem together is saying, hey, don't allow your perception to overcloud the divine nature of things.
Yes.
So, yeah, man, talk about, yeah, synchronicities and angel
Talk
messages.
about on the money.
Right. But and what's cool is the box I picked it up out of, the top basically made a suction vacuum, and those two cards fell out. I knew there was something else to be heard, but it's like, here
There
I
it
am.
is.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
it. So, those moments, all right, we
That
have
that's
all
a
those moments.
sorry, that's a great way of putting it, Mark Valdez. Sometimes we have to get out of our own way.
Oh yes, oh yes. Like, instead of like the horse leading the horse to water, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we become the horse sometimes. Hey, stubborn ass, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Move. Come
You're a
on.
horse, not a donkey. Move.
Yeah. Yeah. It's strange how the readings and the cycles of conversation have gone. They've led me around a lot of beautiful unanswered questions, and I thank you for that.
Hey,
No, it's only your scholarship and hard work that's made it happen. So, thank you for that.
it's not me. It's you. it's I may offer interpretation, but the message is clearly your own, and that goes for everyone. Like, you know, it's not to me to assume. It's not to me to offer my perception.
Yeah, but
I can give you my answers. I can give
instead of
you my
shooting the
answers.
messenger, I'd rather thank him.
Right, right, right. Well, I appreciate it. You know, it's because not only is there some guidance offered or kindness given, it's reflected. But and
Yes.
yeah, like there, and that's with all things tapping into source, and that's what I call it: divination, magic, um, ritual, whatever you choose to practice is
Yeah.
reflective of self and source.
Yeah.
And all of its doings, it will show you that reflection tenfold. Like,
Yes, it will.
and that's like the karma of things, I would say, is that reflection. Um, yeah, so I'll leave it at that. We don't have to harp on that because
No, that's good. It's good. Yeah. It's kind of what I've been covering quite a lot
yeah,
of. Yeah.
that was beautiful.
Well,
Though I appreciate y'all being here for it too. And
oh man, it's an absolute pleasure to come on with you every time. And it gets a bit of a chat going rather than just me sitting there just chatting to everybody.
yeah. I see. You know me. I ramble, so so this is part of my life. I don't shut up, but you know,
Me too.
it's fun to have the tandemness to it because, well, much like you and Cher, how y'all can, you know, play off of each other, so can we.
Yeah.
That's those times of genuine nature, you know, that is that principle of honesty and vulnerability and bearing. It allows for mutual growth without expectation or condition. You know,
Yeah.
there's not that agenda, there's not that motive. It
No.
is purely momentary and blissful.
Yeah.
And this is how we should approach life. And you know, I keep saying should or do or have, and those are in themselves are conditions too. So
I know. I know
the
what you mean, though.
detach,
We know what you mean.
right. Well, seek that detachment in those ideas and those paradigms. You know, the paradox of life and existence is just that, paradoxical. So it allows for dual meaning, the cause and effect. You know, that's what creates that kind of overwhelming sense of whimsy, also duality and travesty in a way, because, like, you know, the finger must be pointed. Just remember, it's pointing back.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I always say that when there's one finger pointing out, there's three pointing back at you. Yeah. Every time. Every time.
Every time. And that's that ode back to, like, why is that causing a reaction? Why do you seek acknowledgement for this? Why is recognition your goal? You know,
Yeah.
if you place emphasis on any of these facets, you ruin that nature of it. You know, you put the smudge on the diamond, like that. There's a
Straight
little
away,
nick
there's an
there.
agenda.
You take away from natural worth and try to put value to it, and
detracts from the whole idea.
Yeah, when you try to value worth, you know, you take away from both. It's like I look at it as Legos, but you know, the old really thick block Legos.
Yeah.
I mean, like the fat ones and then the little ones, right? Well, you put enough little ones together, you could make them fit into the fat ones.
Yeah.
But they didn't fit right. They were able to stick, but it wasn't proper.
Yeah.
Same sense.
Same thing.
That's putting value to worth, you know. What is value? I mean, we can easily tell you what's of value or what has value, but what is value itself? And the very same question plays off of what is worth. What is, and this comes to a point of perception. This comes to a point of being that spiral dancer. What has been instilled in you? What is the conditions that you've met? What are the programs that you elaborate on? You know, play that game, and you can find out that those programs, those conditions, those memes, as it were, are a facet of that nature, and they too can be played on. So if the nature of those can be played on, what I mean by played on is pitet, potet, elicit that reaction, then that is no longer a tool in that game. It is.
If you think about it,
it is a machine.
When Neo was just in that pool of liquid,
yeah,
he couldn't control the Matrix. But the moment he come out of that, and was told what the Matrix was, he was able to
warp it, bend
combat
it.
it, fight
Yes,
against it.
yes,
Same
exactly.
realization.
Yes, fully. And I'm gonna go full nerd here. Let's look at a D&D. All right. Um, how things are left to chance, but it's what you do with that chance that
Yeah,
makes it
could take you in any direction from there.
any direction. Like, and I'm not sure how familiar the group is with this game and concept, but
Dungeons and
I
Dragons, by
almost
the way,
live
guys.
by it. You know, I've been incredibly close to incorporating it into the channel here. We can hook up a Zoom and we'll throw some dice because life is reflective inside that game. I've played a few games, I've been part of different campaigns, and I've created my own. And the genuine nature of it is life, and it's all its glory, you know, because you're able to become a persona that you thought you couldn't, because you're playing a character, and in that character, you know, you develop a sense of your own, if that makes sense.
Well, it's only what Tolkien did at the start of everything.
Yeah, and so it's allowed me to do that as well. You know, it's and since you mentioned Tolkien, like same as him, every single character in his story was a personification of himself in the one moment of time.
Yes.
Much the same with my story. You know, I identify with every single one of the characters in some shape, form, or fashion. And in that sense, the story is very much so my own. Yet I have no ownership of it. I have no control of it because it is a story worth telling. It is a story to be told, not to be, you know, what's the word? What's the biblical term for it? Coveted in a way.
It's the difference between a good writer and an absolutely great writer who can put you in the boots of the character for a moment.
Yeah.
And let you live a moment in their shoes. That's a gift for
Yes.
a writer, definitely. Which stems from empathy. So, you know, knowing thyself.
Yes. I've got my email.
Oh, the email.
The email.
The suspense is not killing me.
Well, since we're talking about books, I am now reviewing my contract.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's so awesome.
It really is.
That is incredible. I'm so pleased for you, my friend.
I'm pleased for myself. It's
pretty stoked, huh?
Man, I was giddy. I saw the phone call and I was like, it's a day early. I better pick this up.
Yeah.
He was like, it'll take about a week or so, and you know that would be through the weekend. So I guess it's the last work day, but we've talked on weekends, so man.
Oh, I'm overjoyed.
It's
absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
No, Cher, it's not puppies.
What happened? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, I think Cher's just throwing a random puppies in, just
puppies?
to get my attention in case I'd forgot.
Yes. But
no.
Man. So yeah, hey, folks in the chat, if like that could be a thing. You know, Tricky proposed his Zoom collaboration yesterday. I'm still proposing that if you need a time to just get away and dive into some sense of fantasy, man, hook up with me and we can throw some dice. I might put you to sleep because just with descriptive detail, but it's part of it.
Yeah, it's never anything I was into. I was more into BMXing and breakdancing.
Yeah.
But
Right.
my very good friend Alan, he was big into the Dungeons and Dragons books, and
Yeah.
he lent me one where you
That-
could go off on different tangents, whichever
yeah.
answer you took.
Right.
And I found it incredible, but no, I was busy being a proper boy. I was out being a tearaway. You know what I mean?
I do, and I was as well, for the fact that, oh shit, I've lost my thing. There we go. I was as well. I just came into the whole really D&D thing probably about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that realm of fantasy is I've always perpetuated. So
Drawing you in,
right.
drawing you in. Yeah, it's like I'm not a gamer now. I never was a gamer back then. When Christmas used to come round and people would break out Monopoly or sort of the Trivial Pursuit or something.
Yeah. The family, the board games. Yeah.
Honestly, I would have rather have gone outside and just perpetually shoved wasps up my arse.
Nice.
You know,
Oh man.
I'd have preferred to have done that, but no, I had to stay in and play the game with the family. So I'm not a gamer, still not a gamer, but I'm a creator. So, you know, each to our own forte, each to your own strengths. Remember this, guys.
Yes. Yes.
What you're
that is
good at.
embracing your gifts, because you are everything that you need to be.
If life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
Yes. And if you can't have lemonade because of the sugar, well, by golly, whoop yourself up a fabulous meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tricky. We brothers, as that was my thing, chap. Massive BMX set. Been to the Red Bull breakdance shows in the past. Yes, brother. Absolutely. Well, it was absolutely my time. Was BMXing and breakdancing. It was the greatest of things. It really was. Oh, memories.
Yes.
Yeah. And I still like my toys, but they just got more expensive.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Toys and their toys, and they're always costing more.
Yeah, you know it. You know it, brother. All right. Well, I'm gonna check out, bro.
I'm on my way to do so as well. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna take a moment and bring this to fruition. So
yeah. Absolutely. I'm gonna let you do just that, mate, because I can see the smile on your face, and the sooner you get it done, checked, and sent back, the better.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. So y'all stay blessed. Know that we love you, and good thing. So later, brother.
Absolutely.
Chat.
All right, Captain.
Y'all take care. We'll see you next time. And
take care of yourself, brother.
We're all in this together, you know.